All right, this is looking good. We've read all of this. Yep. Note game. So, do I remember where I'm going? I mean, they wanted us to sign up. We are going to all the places. We just had snacks. Well, they got us sandwiches. You can see where the people are. So let's go to the clubhouse. I went to the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I never really liked extracurricular activities. All right. At school, I used to find any excuses to skip extra classes. At university, I had no interest in participating in the student council. I can relate. I wasn't interested in boxing, aero modeling, or sewing. Sewing? So I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. I found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips on the table uh, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. I'm guessing this is the oscillograph. I don't really know what that is though. I heard voices from another room, and then two pioneers appeared. One was electronic, and that one I didn't know. Hey, Simeon, we've been expecting you. It seems he knows everything about everyone. Why are you expecting me? Well, of course, because you came to sign up to our cybernetics club, didn't you? He didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik. He's in charge here. I assume there's only two of you in the club? Well, you can say that it's three now. Shurik came up to me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar. Oh? Welcome to the club. Yep. Now I'll show you around. Make yourself at home. Guys, I just wanted to... We're always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union suddenly started playing in my head. It's amazing. Even I remembered the words. In the first grade, I had a textbook with the lyrics in the back. Oh no, I just wanted you to sign my checklist. Yep, you sign up to the club and we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. I was getting ready for a long, boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked up and saw Slavia. Simeon, I hope they're not giving you any trouble. She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry. I know these two. They can. Well, actually, I just needed to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation. No problem. Give it to me. Flavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik. Sign it. Hold on, we're not done yet. Oh, you're done. Sign it now. Gave Shurik such a threatening look that made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia, and then I moved on in a mellow mood. All right. So let's go to the library. Actually, I love reading. But spending my days in a library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope. So I'd better hurry up with this checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she's looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through their collection of comic books. Back then, I didn't know why they had so many, or why couldn't I take some with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back then, the whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp, where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, maybe then. I couldn't just sit here, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. A random book? Alright. Author Schopenhauer's The World as Will and Representation. World as Will and Representation. Will and Representation. I haven't read it. The only thing I know about Schopenhauer is the quote. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man, with its endless upkeep, wants and suffering, is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act, i.e., the absolute claim of the will to live. And furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his debt and thinks with anxiety of this debt. Oh man. Let's read this again. Life man with its endless upkeeps, wants and suffering is to be regarded as the explanation of the procreative act, i.e., the absolute claim to live and the will to live. Procreate, that's... Let's see, I'm trying to remember here. Procreate is... I gotta Google this. I'm pretty sure it's having, having children. That's... right over here. Procreate. Yeah, beget to bring forth offspring. Yeah, so having children is... so all my upkeep, wants, and suffering should be regarded as the explanation, and paraphrase, like, i.e., the absolute claim to the will to live. And furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his debt. Thinks with anxiety of this debt. Owes nature his debt? I don't get that part. Like, all this is seen as the will to live, like the survival instinct. All of this. By the way, I don't agree with this. If you have read Nietzsche's Will to Power, I find that very interesting. I think this here is a very simplified view of man. Like that we only have the one instinct, will to live. That doesn't make sense. People have given their lives for stuff, other stuff than keep on living. Like that was not a part of procreation. For example, communism. A lot of people gave their life to bring communism in. Like, that's not procreation. That's not getting children. So the will to live doesn't really fit in. It's some sort of will. And Nietzsche said it was the will to power, that you want to not procreate and live longer, but to take your internal views and like extend it outwards to become bigger. I don't know. Will to power. It is also the reason the man owes nature his death. Things with inside of his death. I mean, I get that death and anxiety around death. I'm not denying that we do have a will to live and a survival instinct. We for sure do. And that is probably connected to death anxiety. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But owes nature his death? That doesn't make any sense. Nature is what happens. Everything that happens within nature. So we're born, we live, we die. That's what happened. There is no owing nature anything. Right? We don't owe nature anything. That wouldn't make sense. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves? Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? Guilt for what? I don't understand. At any rate, we always exist, from time to time, playing with death for our birth, paying with death for our birth. That makes sense. Hello, Tonches. Sorry, I don't speak Russian. We exist from time to time, paying with our death for our birth. That makes sense, though. We always exist, and alternatively bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That is a result of our stated will to live. Alright, let's get this again. We always exist, from time to time, paying with death for our birth. Like, if we weren't born, we wouldn't die. So, birth and death, they go hand in hand. We always exist and eternally bear all the joy and sorrow of life. I don't get that, but I mean, when we exist, we do have joys and we got sorrows of life. Since neither of both can pass us without some effect. Yeah, they do affect us. That is a result of our stated will to live. That I don't agree with. Some things, some sorrows, some joys can be directly connected to the will to live, but again, I don't agree with the premise that the will to live is the only will. Thus, the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life, let's start again. I understand, I just joke. Oh, Russian joke. Tonch excuse. So strange that someone is playing Everlasting Summer now. Yeah, it's an old game, I think. I'm going through my Steam account, playing all the games that I haven't played before. So I'm playing it. Why do you think it's strange I'm playing it right now? Because it's winter? Sorry. Thus, the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life, holds us firmly to it, is really elusive, but just as elusive as the impulse which has attracted us into it. Death, which in spite of all the miseries of life. Oh, and the fear of death holds us to life, even though life is filled with misery. I get that. It's really elusive, but just as elusive as the impulse which is elusive, like illuminating. I gotta check this. What does elusive mean? Illusory, deceptive. Oh, like an illusion. All right. Yeah, it's deceptive, like all the suffering, but still we all want to live. All right. But just as elusive is the impulse which has attracted us into it. Into what? Into life? Probably, yeah. I'm guessing this is talking about the impulse of getting laid. This attraction itself may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. Yeah? They are the purest expression of the will to live in its affirmation. How gentle and tender it is. If you say so. It wants happiness and quiet pleasure and mild joys for itself, for others, and for all. It's a gross generalization. Someone knocked at the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. All right. I should pick it up, yeah, agreed. It was Lena. Oh, girl who likes the books. Hi, I smiled. Hi, I just wanted to return a book. She had the copy of Gone with the Wind I saw her reading yesterday. Lena says, oh, Xenia is sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. I turn around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind the table. What is it that you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. Quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Anna came up to her and returned her book. I thanked Xenia and went out. It's quick little visits. I have to go to the music club. I'm pretty sure they said the infirmary last, so let's go to the infirmary last. The music club, small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. All right. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There were enough instruments for a whole orchestra here: drums, guitars, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period they were from, but I suddenly heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. The girl seems like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours in such a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak at first. "Excuse me." "Ah, who's there?" And she slammed it in her and she tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so. Ouch. Tonches says, no, it's just so old and unpopular game on its... Oh, wait. I can't read the full message. In our days, I remember many people played it about 5 years ago in Russia. But now, Everlasting Summer has one streamer on Twitch, and that's foreign. That's strange, yeah. I'm guessing I'm the only one then, since it only had one streamer on Twitch. I had no idea about this game. It just was on my stream library. Actually, I can show you. What I did was I pressed this button, I sorted by recent activity, and I went to the very bottom. And at the very bottom, I found Everlasting Summer, one of the games I found there. So now I'm playing it along all of these other games that were at the bottom. Alright. So she struggled and got out. Sorry I scared you. It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist. You must be new here. Ah, yes. My name is Miku. No, really, I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother is Japanese. She looks Japanese for sure. My dad met her when he was building. Well, it wasn't him who was building. He's an engineer, you see. That's cool. Good game. It's all right so far. And he was working on a nuclear power plant there, or a dam, or a bridge, whatever. She was talking so fast, she swallowed half the words she tried to pronounce. I'm Semyon. Great, want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but it will be two of us then. Do you play anything? Oh, she has all of these instruments to herself? When I became antisocial, that's not a good word for it, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it since I quit everything that required more than a couple of hours to learn. I can relate. I'm the same way. You know, I wasn't planning to do anything like that really. Oh, it's okay, I'll teach you. Maybe trumpet, for example. How about a violin? I know it all, honestly. She does know it all. There was no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast at me. Yeah, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now? Nice. Yeah, sure. Give it to me. Be sure to come around. I sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs. Or maybe, if you're not into that, something more contemporary. Sure. Thanks, I gotta go now. Of course, come anytime. The end of her sentence stayed inside me. It might be nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, but in such company? I turned to leave and came face to face with Alisa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist? Got it signed? Yeah? Then move it. Alisa went inside and I heard to leave the place. She was part of the music thing, right? Who knows? And last we go to the infirmary. What's the point in visiting the infirmary? My health was fine, the fresh local air clearly did me some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit it. I entered. Common infirmary. infirmary, like my school doctor's room. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Oh, first adult. Her eyes are red and blue for some reason. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed intently at me, assessing me while continuing to write something. Well, hello, pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something. Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch. I sat down. Strip. She said it all with an even tone. What for? To inspect, to osculate, to check on your health, you know? By the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola. She turned to me. What are you waiting for? Strip. But I have no health issues. I've got this. I neatly gave her the paper. Later. She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeming like she intended to probe me with it. But somebody knocked at the door. Good habit, knocking on doors. The nurse answered unwillingly. Come in. In a moment, the door opened wildly and Electronic rushed inside. Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course. I'm okay, but Olga... There was a massive bruise under Electronic's eye. I doubt that this could be a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look, she said to him. And you pass me your checklist. The nurse quickly signed it and continued. If something hurts, come to me immediately. Pioneer. I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. That nurse is surely something else. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Olga Dmitrievna and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin reading a book. That's nice. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she was planning to turn me into. I wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fierce speeches at the lineup, scolding Uliana, and getting involved into my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here, I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great, I could have signed it myself without going anywhere. Well, maybe she'll look at it later, who knows. Perfect, so did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason, her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club have you signed up for? I need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow. Wait. We went to the electronics club, we went to the music club. The electronics club had 2 members. The music club had 1 member. And where's all the other people and what clubs are they into? Of course, sure. Oh, time for dinner. About time, I was getting hungry. Yep. I headed to the canteen with Olga. I looked at the sky and noticed that the sun was already setting. On the porch stood Alisa, Electronic, Uliana, and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about. And never call me Bache again or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that, you're hearing things. She punched him in the face. That was the black guy. He did, I heard it all, says Uliana. You weren't even there. I was in the bushes. Come on, you guys, stop it. So it wasn't the football injury Electronic suffered earlier today. Oh, that's way too loud. That's better. I couldn't even see his black eye. Olga came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Lisa and Chisikov didn't do anything. She shrugged with antipathy and went inside. Right, dinner time. I enter last. Like, look at all these people. All of them. People everywhere. Like, over there, over there, over there. It's like people all around. What are their clubs? I don't know. I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. There were a few free seats near Alisa across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week or two than risk my head near her. There was also a seat near Uliana, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever crawls cuisine. Nice. Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I'll have to pick my poison. You mind if I sit here? Oh yeah, sure. I mean, no, I don't mind. I mean, yes, you can sit here. Sit down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat and chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, not that I don't like it. But if you ask me, I'd prefer, say, stroganoff beef or ragout. Ragout? No, maybe just a hamburger or a rump steak. Do you like rump steak? Yeah, I do. I like hamburgers. I'm not that picky about my food. And that's the simple truth. Oh, is that so? But the desserts, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I just love 48 Kopecks and Leningradsko. Oh, sorry, I keep talking about myself. Oh, popular ice cream in the Soviet Union. All right. Maybe you like Eskimo better. Dinner was starting to get on my nerves. Thanks to such company. And I'm not the kind of person that can just ignore someone who's talking to them. I mean, he has no self-awareness, this dude. He has been ignoring people like all the time. Well, not all the time, but he's ignoring people lots of the time. And now he claims that he's the kind of person that just can't ignore someone. But he has been ignoring people, so that doesn't make any sense. Well, even her. We're at the same table after all. I once bought a waffle cone and started eating. And then, you know what? I found a screw there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those that you tighten with screwdrivers. Bolts are those you turn around with a wrench. Yes? Yep. If there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. Yeah, he's ignoring her. Liar. Semyon is such a liar. I went outside and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I just sat there and watched the night fall. Sorry. Everything is so lively here during the day. Kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling and running around, constant chatter, games going on, and swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of day were swapped for silence, only now and then broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you can see things. Maybe a ghost, or a spirit of the forest, or a wild animal. A human being would be the last thing to expect. That is how it looked last night, and now the locals follow their routine very strictly. In the day, the camp was theirs; in the night, it belonged more to the forces of nature than humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was electronic. Let's go play cards. Cards? Yep. I invented a new game, a good one. Ooh. Will we invents new games? Probably not a good game. We'll see. Good. Like how? Well, first we gotta find the cards, then I'll tell you. Then go find them. What's the problem? Only Olga has them. And she won't give them to me. Why so? Well, the last time when Olga and Slavia came out onto the porch. Olga, Semyon just wanted to ask you about the possibility of getting playing cards. Actually, for what purpose? We invented a new game. Not we, you did. What game? I need the cards to show you. I don't like this. Well, if Semyon is with you, then perhaps it's okay. To be really honest, we'll go fetch them together, Olga. Yeah, let's go together. If you don't mind. Sure, let's go. We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped. Hey, just remember, the cards are in my cabin. Good timing. And where's that? It's just down this road. Let's go. We reached a cabin that in fact looked more like a trailer. Just wait here a minute, I'll be back. It took her just a few seconds to come back. There, she showed me a deck of pretty worn out cards. These must be marked in and out. That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play? Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules. Shall we go? Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something. How long have you been here? In this camp? About a week. I see. Where did you come from? I'm from the north. That is the cold north. She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. I tried to approach from another angle. What do you like? What do you mean? Well, your hobbies. Oh, I like nature? Strange, she's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature, I see. Want to become a natural historian? Or like a normal historian? I was always interested in our nation's history. That would suit her well indeed. It appeared that among all the locals, she was the only one who had nothing to hide. What if she came here just like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell? I tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp? I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me from their work. Another failure. Well, if you could choose, it's nice here. I don't think I would choose some other place if I could. Here it's like you're becoming another person. That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean, another person? It's just like that it's so many possibilities. You can learn so much, meet so many new interesting people here. Now she started to sound like our chief. She raised a red flag for me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Olga told Slavia, I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good, good. Slavia and Olga went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Elisa. Her gaze sent shivers down my spine. Not a nice one. Did you want something? I asked carefully. We're going to play this stupid game? Yes. Is something wrong with that? Nope, nothing. She was turning to leave, but then slowly looked back and smiled. So, you play cards? A little. I couldn't figure out what you wanted. So, only Durak, and that's it? Durak, a card game popular in the USSR similar to President. Don't know either of those. As if you're a poker star. Well, just technically. Then you don't have a chance. Why? Because. So you know the rules? Of course. Well, then you have the upper hand. I couldn't see why would we go on talking and motion towards the door. Why do you keep trying to leave? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Let's make a bet. What do you mean? You're such a slowpoke. The cards, what else? What do you want to bet on? I'll win. That's quite a possible outcome, I agreed calmly. So, are you afraid? No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets when I don't like my chances. And you're not big on taking risks either. Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right then, No, you're not. Now what? I sighed in exhaustion. She was starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about some pointless bet. If you won't bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me. What? You heard me. I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? You've been here less than 2 days. Besides, wanna try your luck? Right. And what will happen if I win? I won't tell anyone anything. And if I lose? Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I told you already. So you're telling me now that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something when I didn't actually do it? If that's how you want to look at it, not a simple decision. Now, on the one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. Wait, by just claiming that you tried to seduce her? I mean, you can just deny it. And if people don't believe you, then so what? I don't understand. Is seducing people bad? Then again, can I even trust her? Obviously, you can't trust her. She's a liar. She can do it even if I win. So, have you made a decision? I was going to answer, but suddenly Lena came around me from behind. What? Nothing? Lena hurried inside. So? Oh. I mean, do not bet with Elisa or bet with Elisa. No, do not bet. You can tell people whatever you want to. I'm not interested. Bet. No, I'm not gonna participate in your shady business. Sorry about that. You wuss. Yep. She shrugged and went up the stairs. Before she went inside, she flung at me. Prepare to face the consequences. Consequences? What if I made a wrong decision? After all, she can really complicate things for me here. Yes, she can. On the other hand, I just couldn't allow myself to be pulled into something so reckless. Reckless? It's not reckless. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. A few pioneers stood here and there, chatting. The tables were moved out of the way to make room for players and spectators. I looked around. Something was going on in the far corner. When I came closer, I saw a large piece of paper with a diagram drawn on it. My name was among the players. Who came up with all of this? Electronic, for sure. I patted the Electronic who was standing near. Of course it was your most humble servant. He bowed to me jokingly. This made me uncomfortable to the point of squirming. And why in the world am I amongst the players then? I was disappointed. A few seconds ago, I thought I still had a slim chance to evade this tournament. Then I wouldn't have to fear Elise's revenge for not betting with her. But now that hope was gone. It's pure coincidence. Yeah, right, coincidence. Except that I was already acquainted with every one of the contestants. While there were a few dozen other pioneers standing in the room, I was seized by anxiety. It's the feeling of being watched while standing in an empty room with no windows and doors. Will there be a prize? I asked him lazily. I wanted to distract myself with pointless conversation. Electronic was just about to answer when Juliana came out of nowhere and started jumping around him. Prizes, prizes! I heard something about prizes. Do you know what's the main ethos of the Olympic Games? It's not the winning, but the taking part that counts. A what? No? You'll understand when you grow up. She made a wry face and jabbed Electronic in the ribs. So what about the prize? Well, I don't know. It's not up to me. He made a helpless gesture. Really, if they came up with this stupid game, at least they could give the winner a chocolate medal or something. Why? Juliana suddenly jumped and raced off to somewhere. I wish I was that optimistic. So what about the rules? Wait a bit. Not everyone is here yet. I looked around the canteen. Lisa, Slavia, Lena, Mika, and Shurik was here. It seemed everyone is here. Not everyone. Shenya isn't here. Does she feel uneasy, or is it just me? He's not here, so what? Someone else instead. No, I can't do that, he answered slowly. I decided not to ask exactly why he can't do this. Why? This here. It doesn't make any sense. Why can't you pick someone else? Why not ask him why he can't pick someone else? Like, it bothers me. Well, go fetch her or something, I don't know. He can't go, he's the host of the event. Camp leader appeared as if from nowhere. But Olga, Electronic whined. Semyon will go. Right, Semyon. She looked at me and smiled. Of course, who else? Where is she? In the library, I guess. Okay. I dragged my feet towards the door. Please hurry. What's Electronic's problem anyway? I should have asked him. Night is coming soon. I was going to take my time, so I slowly paced towards the library. But I found Senya before I even expected. She was sitting on a bench at the square, staring at Genda, who was silent as always. What are you doing here? Everyone is looking for you. Sitting here, as you can see. She frowned. Well, let's go. I don't want to. She looked away. Why not? I don't want to. I sat beside her. Listen, I don't like the idea of this contest myself, but we can't let everyone down. Can't we? Surely didn't sound like myself there. No, you didn't. A couple of days ago, I wouldn't even think of saying something like that. No, I did. Jenna looked at me with surprise on her face. So everyone is waiting for me? Isn't that exactly what I said? Yes. I want to go anyway. She frowned and hid her face. But why? I gestured with my arms, wondering. I don't know how to play cards. So what? Same problem here. Then how can you play? What? Can you only do things that you read about in books or something? Of course. She was surprised. And what if you end up in Antarctica and have to rely on hunting polar bears to survive? Polar bears don't live in Antarctica. Cindy smiled. Doesn't matter, it's just an example. Come on. It's not like someone's life depends on the result. She took her time to think. I just don't want to let anyone down. Right, I agreed sarcastically. Don't you think anything funny about that? I didn't get what she meant. Anyway, obviously everyone has their weak spots. Yep, they do indeed. In a minute, we both were back at the canteen. Everyone looked at Electronic. So... He cleared his throat. Each round consists of one game. In case of a draw, you replay the game. After this, the loser drops out, and the next round begins. Since the number of volunteers, he looked at me, since the number of players is just 8, we will only have 3 rounds. Is everything clear? The crowd cheered. What are the prizes? The prizes, what are there? Juliana, cut it out. Flavia stepped forward and tried to catch Juliana. I won't rest until the prize is mine. She seemed like this girl alone had enough energy for a warp jump to Alpha Centauri. Prizes, prizes, she repeated it over and over. Stop it, said Flavia. Flavia tried to reason with her. Electronic seemed to getting dizzy from all this running around. Let's start already, I said calmly and added to Uliana, or you won't get any prizes. Looks like my argument got through to her, so she took her place. Flavia followed her, giving me a grateful smile as she passed. The pioneers finally settled down. I approached the table that Lena sat behind. You don't mind? She looked up and blushed. Don't worry, I don't know the rules myself. And how can I be sure it's not only myself? I sat down. Turns out we'll have to play the first round together. Yes. Finally, Electronic started to explain the rules. Oh. Look at the cards carefully. There are exactly 6 of them in front of you. Now you can look at them. After everyone had a look at their cards, Electronic moved on. The rules here are similar to poker. I hope everyone knows how to play. I knew the rules, but I wasn't sure about the others. First of all, the top card. First of all, it is a top card, then a pair, then 2 pairs, then 3 of a kind, and so on. No flushes or straight bows. In the first round, you choose a card which you would like to take from your opponent. In turn, your opponent can choose to swap 2 of his cards around twice. Or he can choose not to do so if he doesn't need the card which you are taking. Take a note here that your opponent can see which cards are trading places. In the next step, your opponent takes a card if he chooses. And so on. I think it's pretty clear. I have no idea what's going on. It wasn't too clear to me. Hey, you, Einstein, Liana yelled from her table. I didn't get a thing. We'll figure it out as we go. Yeah. Electronic went to the table with the diagram, leaving Uliana to smolder in solitude. You go first. hoped I could get my mind around the game fast enough. Lena, more perplexed than usual, reached out for my cards. In the middle of the table, her hand stopped. Oh yeah, I should be protecting my card. What's the electronic said? Try to confuse my opponent. I can swap 2 of my cards. Twice. Or I can choose not to. Should I protect it or not? By the way, I can also agree and give her the card she chose straight away. Otherwise, Diana can change her mind and take another card if she wants to. Or she might not to. I mean, let's not switch anything. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to change anything. Like, did I have to? Actually, let's switch. Oh, she switched, so I can, like so. She get the 3. Things were becoming clear. Or at least comprehensible. Now it's my turn. I can take back my card from her, or I can choose another one. Let's go RNG. I want that card. Then I can try to protect her card, but if I watch closely, I can take the card I choose regardless of her movements. Yep, I still want that card. Yep, I still want that card. And I get number 4. That's not what I wanted. I made it. Electronic, who was silently watching our game, nodded in approval. Looks like now we're getting somewhere. Now, during the round, opponent trades cards 3 times. Keep an eye on each other. Penetrate your opponent with your eyes. I chuckled. Penetrate. So funny. Oh, never mind. I tried to keep a straight face. He stared at me for a moment and then moved on. Ooh. And then we turn the cards up to see whose hand is better. Electronic went back to his diagram. So I defense. I sure want to keep the ace. So here, I have 2. Let's switch again. Oh, she has 2 3s now, though. That's her winning for sure. I really want that card now, since you don't want me to have it. That's a queen. Where did my queen go? It's gone. Alright, here I have number 2. Alright, I want this one. I want that one. And I still want that one. Number 8. She really wants my ace, but I want to keep my ace. Oh man, I have no idea which cards are hers. Let's just take that one. Let's take it. I want it. Oh! I win. I wonder if this was pre-planned, me winning. Of course, it was the lowest card that had duplicates as well. I tried to give her the 2, but I couldn't. Win! I won! Seriously, it's hard to play a game that was made up on the spot and not by yourself either. But I won, although the moment of glory was tainted by the fact that it was Lena who was the loser. She was not very confident in general, but now she lost. I'm too embarrassed to even look at her now. Probably I should have lost to boost her self-esteem. Meanwhile, Electronic probably announced that the first round is over. A list of those who made it into the second round appeared on the scheme after a little while. Semi-final pairs consisted of Alisa versus Senya, Uliana versus me. Doomed sigh escaped me. Uliana immediately took her seat upon me. Ha! She glared at me, grinning. How did you manage to outplay Lena? Cheating, perhaps? I'm not you. I just know how to play cards. It was just luck. At least that's what I wanted her to believe. Alright. And how could you outplay Shuriken? Liana waved her hand, showing how easy it was. I threatened to join his club. She grinned yet again. Would you hold back too? Not a chance. Ugh. Then I'll choose which card I give to you myself. Do you hear the rules? Screw him. Looked like you really didn't care. Okay, but I choose the cards to give to you too. Deal. Inspired by my victory in the first round, I ventured upon this dangerous move. I could have argued, appealed to Electronic, and eventually had my own way, but I felt truly confident in the outcome of this round. Yes, we were breaking the rules, but I was in the same boat as Uliana. I looked up at Electronic. It's time to begin the semi-finals, he commanded. I carefully checked my cards, ensuring that Uliana couldn't see them. So, you get number 2. And I get it 6. I get the 6 back. Will I get the 6 back again? No. Alright, you get it back. Oh. 12 nines. She had double 6s, but she gave it away. Yeah, this was... Maybe if I gave the 9 away, would have won. She would have won. And the 10. Yeah, the Joker was her best. So I win. Well, hey, this isn't fair. You should have held back and lost. She angrily puffed up her cheeks, making her resemble Humpty Dumpty. Let's have a rematch, but this time you won't. You have to hold back, got it? It wasn't me who heard her, but the entire room, even Electronic. No rematches allowed. Liana completely ignored him. You have to lose. I don't have the slightest intention of playing you for a second time, I said calmly. Fine, you want it that way? Yes, that way. Then I'll put out the word that you sexually harassed Alisa. She whimpered. What? I leaned over the table and gave her a menacing glance. So you've been eavesdropping. I just heard it while passing by. Anyway, it's much better to play an extra round than... You can certainly do that. I sighed and appealed to Electronic. Not a problem, we have a quick rematch. Whatever. He shrugged and the rematch started. Alright, so let's try and lose. So, I give you my ace. And you give me your 9. I give you my king. And you give me your queen. And I give you a 9. And I take that, and bam, she wins. Alright, good. Loss is the word we want. Loss. At least I won a single round. Left the canteen. It was still too early to sleep, and a short walk looked like a good idea. Where should I head to? Scene? all of the sports. All right, I'm interested in those three. Actually, let's go to the bus stop. The events of the day kept flashing brightly in my head. That damned useless checklist, this stupid tournament. Right now, I don't want to do a single thing or talk to anyone. I don't even want to start thinking about my current situation. I came to the square and took a seat on the bench while staring at the Genda statue. But I picked a bus stop. I don't know how long I was sitting like this, but finally the cricket chirping brought me back to reality. I got up and blindly walked in a random direction. Here we go, the bus stop. Somehow, for the second day in a row, I find myself in this place. Maybe subconsciously, I felt that the bus will be waiting for me here to take me back to the real world. Very unlikely. On the other hand, why not? It got dark already. I was just standing there, gazing at the night sky. Astronomy has never attracted me so much as astronautics. It has always been more interesting to look at the pictures of far constellations, nebulae, and galaxies made by artists than to try and figure out how to measure angular velocities and masses of stars. I can agree with that, but certainly I would be able to find the Great Bear constellation. But if I get lost in snow forests, my only way to find a way out would be that little knowledge about moss growing on the north side of the tree. However, I still don't think that would help me to get out. I was able to head back to the camp when all of a sudden I caught a noise behind the gates. What was it this time? Near the clubhouse, it seemed like someone was walking down the path to the forest. It was so dark that I could see nothing but a blurred shadow. I wondered who could be out so late at night. A pioneer breaching discipline. I followed the mysterious shadow rapidly, but still carefully. Stalking are we now? Was moving from path to path, and after a while I found myself in the depths of the forest and finally losing sight of the stranger. Maybe I should turn back? The trees parted before me, and a magnificent view of a small forest lake struck my eyes. Then I noticed Slavia. She was skipping and fluttering about, letting her neckerchief loose and let her shirt fly up in the air. This whole scene seemed even more fantastic than my own presence in the camp. Slavia looked like a spirit of the forest, or perhaps a nymph. She looked so natural, more like an ancient goddess than a human being. I remember all the theological theories, which I read some time ago. This reminded me of pantheism, the idea that God is in all that is, everything that we see around. What if it were not the aliens or a time warp, but divine providence that brought me here? Indeed, Slavia mentioned that she loves nature. So it turns out that even she is an enigma, isn't she? Slavia went into the water. I was ashamed, but I just couldn't take my eyes off her. Silvery moonlight reflected off her wet skin, making Slavia look like an ancient Greek statue. Silvery moonlight reflected off her wet skin, making Slavia look like an ancient Greek statue. The Venus de Milo, perhaps. The scene was so fabulous that there were no room for carnal lust, only sublime admiration of true beauty. I was simply admiring the perfection of Slavia's form and forgetting everything else. Maybe this isn't hell, but heaven. A branch treacherously snapped under my foot. Slavia turned around, but there was no way to recognize me in the darkness of the night, or at least so it seemed. She rapidly rushed out of the lake, put on her clothes in a hurry and vanished from sight into the forest. I quietly went after her. Slavia was quietly trailing among the trees, choosing the easiest paths and gracefully avoiding the sheer trees, pits and snags. It was a hard job to keep pace with her. Moreover, I definitely didn't want to be caught. Then why are you following her if you don't want to get caught? Firstly, peeping it is just no good, indeed, and secondly, in fact, it still remains to be seen what she was doing here. Although it somehow seemed to be innocent enough, it didn't seem to have anything to do with my presence in this world. It was just innocent. It was nothing worth spying on, indeed. At last we came out to the square. Slavia stopped and turned around to face me. Did you think I wouldn't notice you? I was a bit confused, but I put on a mask of visible calmness. How long ago? I'm not sure. Slavia came closer. 5 minutes ago, maybe? We're in there at the lake. What lake are you talking about? Well, Slavia seemed to be sincerely surprised, so I simply couldn't figure out whether she was pretending that nothing had happened or, well, never mind. I made up my mind to behave like a gentleman, as gentlemanly as was possible under these circumstances, and said nothing. All right. Unexpectedly easy, she agreed. What a beautiful night. Slavia took a seat on the bench and looked up at the sky. I guess such nights are common here. Oh, probably. Why so uncertain? I don't know. I just got lost in thought. Thinking about what? She stared at me like she was looking for something on my face, then went back to stargazing. Now and then I fall in such a good mood at night. During the day I'm wrapped up in work with no time to relax, while at night it's so quiet here. If it wasn't for the crickets and the night birds, one would feel like being face to face with the universe. For some reason I didn't think of Slavia as someone who would talk about such matters. As for me, it's even too quiet here. Is it? Yes, really. Anything wrong with that? Well, all right. She stood up quickly and fixed her skirt. It's time to go to bed. Good night. Watched her walking away. Our talk might have been about nothing, but it seemed to me it had some deep and secret meaning which would appear only here, only next to Slavia. Seems like even in my situation, such moments of peace and serenity are absolutely necessary. They make me feel united with the universe. I'd even say vital, especially now. I'm not sure how much time I spent sitting here, but after a while I started to feel sleepy. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so Olga must have been sleeping already. Strangely enough, she waited for me yesterday. I entered the cabin, quietly stripped and laid on the bed. When you think about it, my situation hadn't gotten any clearer today. In fact, I spent the whole day doing useless stuff. I would have never even thought about doing something like this in the real world. Although I had plenty of time. How much time I would have here is still a total mystery. Maybe an eternity, maybe there are only a few minutes left. I just didn't want to think about the past, about how I got to this camp. For the first time in a long while, I felt really tired. Not only emotionally tired, but also physically tired and psychologically tired, and God knows how else tired. I just wanted everyone and everything to show off, starting with my own thoughts. I wanted this mess somehow resolved by itself, or at least without my active participation. Nice, finally an explanation. And what if I'm stuck here forever? Then I'll have to get used to it. So, just like that, I'm not ready. My consciousness slowly drifted away from me and became progressively harder to concentrate on something distinct. Perhaps it's better to wait until tomorrow. Oh, do we get glimpses of reality now? I rolled over and fell asleep. Right, can we get glimpses of reality? Maybe. Day 3. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up exhausted both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredibly lucid images in your dream, as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists, well-paid actors, and a multi-million-dollar visual effects. And then you wake in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, to restore the images shown by my relaxed brain, but that part of my memory was empty, either archived or formatted completely. 7 a.m. according to the clock. Damn it, no glimpses of reality. Let's actually save. Save game. Yes. And save game. That's enough of this today. So let's. Nope, that's not the button. There we go. Exit. Yes, I want to quit the game. All right.